What's good, family? What's good, YouTube? Forts UFOs in America, Part 2. I go by the name Pushy Push. You can catch some of my content over there on TikTok at pushy.push. Also, like and subscribe this YouTube right here, which is Pushy Push. But let's get into the video. So, this video is a continuation. It is a part 3. So, there's 2 other parts. Definitely go check that out right there. But what I talked about in the first 2 was star forts and airships. We can call them UFOs, but I don't really see aliens inside of them. I'm noticing that there is a man's technology. It is our technology. So I'm showing a connection with the star forts that was around the 1600s. And now in this video, I'm showing how the star forts are connected in America. So this is going to be interesting because along with the star forts, there is a airship or a UFO presence. And it shaped the way we see America today. So let's get into that. If we look at this first star fort right here, this is Fort Pike. So it's in Louisiana. And the reason why I picked this is because it looks exactly like a baseball diamond. Like at the top, the batter would be at the top, and then you have the first base. Of course, you don't see the second, but it carries the design of a baseball diamond. And if you jump one over, you can see that right there. That is an actual baseball diamond. And the whole, like the fan of the field, looks exactly like the star fort. So if we go back, it looks exactly like the star fort. And this made me wonder, did the shape of the baseball diamond come from an actual star fort's defense? You know, if we look here, you know, you have your first, second, and third baseman, and if the ball going out, you know, the basemen are there to defend. So the star fort is definitely there to defend. Most star forts are near water, you know, so this one stood out because it looks exactly like a baseball diamond. All right, let's come to the next one. And each one of these slides are relevant towards what I need to show in the end. You know, so here's Pittsburgh. There's star forts in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh, the city, was originally a star fort. It says right there, Pittsburgh. So it's like it's 2 names. I didn't even know that it was actually 2 names. We say it as one, Pittsburgh, but it was originally a star fort. And the reason why I picked this, outside of not knowing that Pittsburgh was a star fort, was the factor, you know, they tell us, you know, when the French and the British came to America and the Spanish, that it was undeveloped. And if you can see star forts here in America, then that would show you that there is a level of development. There is a high level of mathematic knowledge. And that might be a piece of history that is being covered up. And it starts with the star forts. So I didn't know that Pittsburgh was an actual star fort. And that's what this video is about, is showing the star forts inside of America, as well as showing how the airships or the UFOs connect with it all. If we go here, it says in Free Imperial City of Nuremberg. So Nuremberg, Germany, was a star fort just as well. You see the water going through. So in Europe, you had star forts, and in America, there were star forts. And this shows a high level of mathematics. So I think I start to question, you know, history a little bit, especially when I'm looking at Nuremberg, Germany, and it has a full city inside of the star fort. So when I go back and I look at Pittsburgh, it made me wonder, was there possibly a full city inside of Pittsburgh? You know, like the cities that we see right now are not the original. And that would change history if it was to show that there were cities here. So that's why the Nuremberg stands out, is because they had cities over there in Germany inside of their star forts. So, you know, the technology was there. This is a place of free energy. lost energy that we call today. But let's jump to the next one. This right here is the base of the Statue of Liberty, and it's just in that star fort shape right there. And the reason why I picked this is because it helps understand that the star forts were here in America, and it was understood. Those older star forts, I don't know if you can put those together with horse and buggy, especially at that mathematical level right there. So I am one of those believers that, a lot of technology has been hidden. But, the star fort and the Statue of Liberty sitting on top of this star symbol definitely lets you know that America is very fluent in star fort buildings and knowledge. It's just they are not showing it like that. San Francisco. This was another interesting one. And there's a reason why I'm showing these right here, and we'll get to that right there. But San Francisco is called Fort Point. This one was interesting because I felt like they were trying to hide this star fort. Most star forts, again, are always near water. This looks like it's underneath the San Francisco Bridge right here, and it definitely can be reconstructed, but it is a star fort, and definitely shows that there are star forts inside of America. Which brings me to this. When we're looking at these old pictures of America, so Chicago, you got New York, San Francisco, St. Louis. One thing they have in common is they're all on water. And it made me wonder, if Pittsburgh was a star fort, could these places also be a star fort? Like, I didn't necessarily show you Buffalo, New York, but Pittsburgh is pretty close. Star fort there. I showed one in San Francisco, one in Fort Pike, and Chicago is now where we're at. And my wonder is, are all these great cities sitting or protected by star forts? So let's look at Chicago. Right here is Fort Dearborn. And you can look at this map right here. It is not as elaborated as the other star forts, but nevertheless, it is considered a fort. And it has its degree of shielding, when you look at these edges right here. So maybe they hadn't completed, I don't know. But this is what drew me to Dearborn, this star fort, is when I saw their map. And their map has some things that would make me question a little bit of history. So it says, "Beloved Chicago flag." And if you look down below, you see the 4, star point stars. And then you see Fort Dearborn. And then it says Great Chicago Fire in 1871. And then it says World Columbian Exposition in 1893. So we're going to look at those two right there. Fort Dearborn. Jump to this right here. It says the Great Fire at Chicago, October 8th, 1871. So you see an airship right up at the top, and it's burning Chicago. Is this a piece of lost history that is not being talked about? I want to show you something else. This is the same airship, but it's above Nuremberg, Germany. So this coin right here, if you look close at the edges, these are star forts. And this is a city on top of the star fort, and there's the boat, and there is this airship above it. And that airship was above Nuremberg. Same thing, a star fort city with an airship. If you go back, that is what you're seeing right here. October 8th, 1871 is an airship above Chicago. And possibly Chicago was a star fort just the same way. But this gets a little bit wilder. What could get wilder than that? If you look at this date, 1871. Now we're going to look at another date. It says 1893. So I want you to see this right here. It says Chicago Day Edition, October 9th, 1893. If you see at the bottom, it's showing you what Chicago used to look like. This is how it used to look like, with a star fort inside of a star fort. It had these great buildings right here. At the top, it shows Chicago being flooded and burned up from a fire. Now, I didn't know that Chicago was flooded, so that is something to look at in history because, it's known for being on fire. But the date is where we're at, October 9th, 1893. And they're saying this is when Chicago was burned, that this city right here below was burned October 9th, 1893. Let's go back. It says the Great Fire at Chicago, October 8th. One day different. 1871, 20 years different. October 8th, it shows an airship burning up Chicago. So my question is, did Chicago burn twice? Or is they changing a date and hiding an event? Or they're hiding an event? It says October 9th, 1893. If you go back, it says Chicago Great Fire, October 8th, 1871. See, this event has been hidden and taken away, and I believe it has been rewritten as this event, October 9th, 1893. That's the Chicago fire that everybody talks about when they are talking about Tartaria and inside of America. Everybody focus right there, but they're not looking at the dates. Like, this is one day off, October 8th, October 9th, 1893, 1871. I believe that they are hiding this event. And this event was an airship that attacked Chicago and caused a fire. If you look here, this is what I'm showing. So this event happened inside of Nuremberg, Germany, and this is 1653. So we're talking 200 years before Chicago was burned. 1871, that says 1653. So 200 years before Chicago was burned, Nuremberg, Germany was going through the same situation. This is a star fort. If we go back, this is what made this an issue for me, because it says World Columbian Expedition. So they're saying this where there was an expedition in 1893. So it says in 1893, Chicago was being destroyed. So I guess the expedition is being destroyed. And that doesn't make sense if it's already documented that in October 8th, 1871, Chicago seemed to have experienced, something that would be considered outworldly. But this isn't aliens. This is, the technology has been around, and you have people who have been fighting, on a government level about hiding this technology. So this is the reason why I can show you this airship in 1653, and then I'm showing you the same airship right here in 1871. This is the same ship, and it's been attacking. And this is what part 1 and part 2 was about. It was showing, all the places that had star forts, and I was showing how all the star fort cities that had free energy was attacked. So this is what made this important. If we go here, I wonder, was all these cities destroyed the same way Chicago was destroyed? An airship attacking a star fort city, like New York, a star fort city, San Fran and St. Louis, a star fort city, and it's being attacked. So this Chicago right here, they're saying in 1893, I'm saying this place was destroyed in 1871, not 1893. They are misleading everyone when it comes to this history right here. And we look right here, Washington, D.C., 1952. So you have these airships that have been coming. So it might not be far-fetched about Chicago being attacked by these airships. And that makes you wonder, when this event happened in 1952, did they come as a threat? Because the way that I'm seeing this is the airship. This is Nuremberg right here, the ship, the city. This is Nuremberg. It shows in part 1 and 2 that the airships are destroying the Star Fort cities. And this is the reason why I show Chicago, being destroyed by the same airship. And if we go back here, that's why I said Fort Dearborn. Now, I know it doesn't carry the same design as the other Star Forts, but nevertheless, it has one of the greatest stories that you can ever talk about, because I feel like they have falsified 1893 when the true date is 1871. So when you look here, 1871, that is what you're seeing is a real event, possibly a real event. So one more time, October 8th, 1871, and then you have October 9th, 1893. So that's something to look at right there. We're gonna end this one right here, because part 4 will be really, really revealing, as in we have to look at the bloodline, as in what were the people like that were possibly coming out of these ships right here. So we're going to be looking at that. So definitely stay tuned. Drop a run with me, friend up, drop a like, and to the next one, family.